Islam Makhachev announced himself as the best lightweight in the world on Saturday night, and with the focus now moving to a showdown between himself and current featherweight champ Alex Volkanovski, Islam has claimed he is coming for his pound-for-pound status. However, one man doesn't think he's ready for what Volk has to offer. Today, we are discussing Makhachev targeting Volk's P4P title, plus Israel Adesanya weighing in on the debate. Stay tuned, let's get straight into it then. What did Islam have to say? Islam Makhachev blew through Charles Oliveira on Saturday night to become the undisputed UFC lightweight champion, realizing a long-held goal in the process. But it didn't take him long to turn his sights onto his next goal, taking Alexander Volkanovski's pound-for-pound title. During the post-fight interview in the octagon, Islam told the world that he now has a new target, with the Russian explaining, "I have to be #1 pound-for-pound champion. That's why I have to go to Australia and beat this guy." Of course, this guy is none other than Alexander the Great Volkanovski, but there's little chance of Volk simply rolling over and letting Makhachev take his hard-earned title. And, of course, the current featherweight king was at the cage side, watching the fight play out. He even entered the cage at the end of the fight after being referred to as a short guy by Islam. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam's trainer and former lightweight king himself, was also on hand to give his take on what had just gone down. He said, "All our lives, we trained together. 22 years. 22 years. I told you guys, Islam Makhachev is the best fighter in the world, not just lightweight. He's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world," which, of course, Volk will dispute. What did you guys think of Islam's performance? Let us know below. So, what else went down after the fight? Let's see. Well, Islam was clearly delighted with his performance and the fact that he had fulfilled Khabib's prophecy when he retired, that Islam was next in line. Of course, Makhachev quickly moved to discuss what's next, and when asked about the Aussie, he said, "I don't see the short guy. Bring him here." Volk quickly jumped to his feet and headed for the octagon, standing face-to-face with Makhachev, who didn't particularly tower over him, so claims of Volk being short might not hinder him too much when he comes up against the Dagestani. Volkanovski then got on the mic to respond to what Islam had suggested, agreeing that the fight would be huge, then saying, "Everything on the line. The pound-for-pound championship of the world on the line. Let's do it." Makhachev then explained that he and his team have no problem venturing into enemy territory, adding, "We can travel to Australia. It's a good country. We can make some camp there, training there." And Islam even broached the idea of a potential move up to welterweight, suggesting that for his legacy, it would probably be a good idea for him to move up at some stage. Of course, that could bring him face to face with another Russian killer, Khamzat Chimaev. But for now, he is only looking at Volk's P4P crown, saying, "I have to be #1 pound-for-pound champion." After that moment, we'll see. We're going to think about this, but right now, I have to defend this belt many times. Next up, we're discussing Israel Adesanya's comments. Stay tuned. Current middleweight king, Israel Adesanya trains with Volk day in, day out, so he sees firsthand what the guy is capable of. And following the news that a fight between him and Islam Makhachev will more than likely be next, Izzy had this to say on the matter. As you might imagine, he's backing his man. Stylebender suggested that Makhachev simply ain't ready for what Volk has to offer, suggesting that they don't understand. The "they" in question is Khabib Nurmagomedov and his team, who seem to believe they are just going to come to Australia and walk through the current best fighter on the planet. Volk was in Abu Dhabi as the backup fighter in case either man missed weight, but ultimately wasn't needed. He has, however, proved that he is capable of hitting the lightweight mark on short notice, even if it is heavier than his usual 145 pounds. And speaking about the potential of Volk fighting either Islam or Charles, in the build-up to UFC 280 last week, Coach Eugene Behrman has explained just how strong his fighter is, saying, "Every single person, doesn't matter who you are, what experience you have, he grabs you and you feel something different. It's a different feeling from anything that I've ever felt from someone of that stature, and I think the lightweight guys still feel that." Behrman even suggested that there are middleweight and light heavyweights in the gym who feel it, so should Islam be worried? Beneil Dariush has had his say on Islam and Volk next. Stick around. Dariush himself was fighting on the same card this past weekend, outpointing Mateusz Gamrot over 3 rounds. But the current lightweight contender has this week suggested that Volk will be given the stiffest test of his career when he comes up against the newly crowned 155-pound champ. People keep suggesting that the lightweight division will be too big of a jump for Volk, who used to weigh north of 200 pounds, with Dariush himself worrying that the featherweight king might be too small for the division. Beneil himself, riding an 8-fight win streak, added, "Like I said, might be too much for him. I'm sure people said that to him at 145 too, but I just think we have a big weight advantage on him. But that would be my only thing. And no one really tries to grapple him at 145. Dariush then went on to explain that no one ever really likes to take him down at featherweight, probably because he is too strong, adding that most fighters at the top of the lightweight food chain are actually grapplers. He went on, everybody loves to just wrestle, so I think it's so different, and I think he would have some problems with that. Of course, Volk would be taking a title shot away from Dariush, so it stands to reason he might be writing the Aussie off because of that. And speaking about the moment he found out the UFC had plans to give Volk the next shot, he revealed it was a bummer. We bet it was. Islam's coach has been speaking out now. In the build-up to last weekend's fight, Javier Mendez claimed that Islam Makhachev was the best lightweight GOAT, which certainly got people talking. He proved he was certainly the best lightweight right now by dismantling Charles in Abu Dhabi. However, he doesn't believe that Volk deserves an instant lightweight title shot ahead of Beneil Dariush, which is pretty difficult to disagree with. Of course, when current champions move up to fight in a new division, it doesn't make sense to put them in against a ranked fighter first, as most fans want to see if they can reign over two divisions simultaneously. And it is this that ultimately drives the pay-per-view buys. But there's no doubt about the fact that Beneil Dariush deserves a shot. Mendez, who was cornering Islam this past weekend, said, "Now, who is actually, in my opinion, more deserving from a true professional sport? But this is not a true sport. This is entertainment sport." And of course, he is correct. Dana White has proven on multiple occasions that the UFC is not a meritocracy, and although Dariush deserves it, which Mendez suggested, he also explained that because this is an entertainment sport, the fans want to see Alex and Islam go for it, because the pound-for-pound king versus the new king in the lightweight division. Where do you guys stand on this? And finally, what has Volk himself had to say? Let's see. Well, you don't get to challenge for a second UFC crown without having something in the locker, and Volkanovski has plenty in this. Discussing the potential showdown with Makhachev earlier this week, Volk has brushed off how easy it will be for Islam to implement his game on him. Many people have suggested that Islam will simply wrestle Volk to the ground and assert his will on him from the top position. These people clearly haven't seen Alexander Volkanovski fight. Not only is he rarely taken down, but it is very difficult to keep him there, which is exactly the point he was making when revealing, "I'm very, very hard to not only take down, but hold down." At the post-fight press conference, Volk then went on to point out that it is easy for him to get back to his feet, again reiterating the idea that Islam will struggle to get him down and keep him there. He added that the new lightweight champ will need to bring his defensive A-game too. He said, "And you ain't going to land on me like that. I don't just stand in front of you. I come forward and I'm coming straight at you. Can't wait." Who you guys got? As usual, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to tune in again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other interesting bits and pieces. Bye guys.